go to Lord with a word of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight to give you honor and glory and praise. Say thank you for your love and mercy and grace made new. Lord, we ask you to guide us and strengthen us, help us come together as a community, help us to make decisions that are pleasing to everybody. Lord, please forgive us where we fail you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Do the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening. Thank you for all being here tonight. If you haven't signed in, please do so. Before we get started, I'd like to give a special shout out to Brett and Chase Levy, Jack White and Noah Ridebush. Jack White for getting the flags that's hanging from the courthouse, if you notice them when you come in. And Chase and Brett and Noah put the flags up a little bit after 4. They look good, so you got to remember the country's getting ready to celebrate 250 years of freedom. And we need to remember those who fought and died for the freedom of this country. So thank you. Roll call. Norm
Here.
Warner. Do you know him too?
No.
Dave Risk.
Here.
Sam Hollins. Here. Approval of minutes. The approval of minutes will be for the June 25th meeting. Dave, you wasn't here, so it'll be Norm and I.
Move to approve the minutes for June 20th.
June 25th. Okay. I second that. All in favor, 3-0. 2-0. Sorry. Thanks, you. Stay with me here. Okay?
I abstain.
Yes. Yes, sir. Sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, but okay, thanks.
See your lips because of
I can't read sign language either, so, okay, thank you, buddy. The approval of payroll and claims. Total payroll and claims is $416,952.41. The payroll was $346,564.05. Regular claims, $57,955.17. Out-of-cycle claims, $12,433.19. Once again, the total for payroll claims, $416,952.41.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, 3-0. Financial report, Sheila?
The recent updated copy
Yes.
is through June 30th. These are all the cash balances that we use in the budget process with the state. All the numbers are looking good. They really didn't change much from last week's meeting. Again, there's a few funds that we're still looking at, concerned with, but we'll have to monitor those over the next few months and go from there. You have your blue sheets in front of you, which is your main financial statement.
Yes.
If you have questions, get with the treasurer. Other than that,
Yeah, we have, for the county highway, the 1173 and 1176 fund, looking real good. Over $1 million, both those funds compared to, what was it last year, Sheila? Very little, $700,000 compared to last year. So Chad and Benita and all the crew, commissioners, thank you for, now we can get ready to spend some of that money. It's funny, the state will give you a budget to spend, but you have to have so much in revenue at the end of June 30th before you can spend the money. So June 30th is passed. Jail project review, and this pending July 13th work session with the council. Now, there's been a lot of talk about the jail, and so I want to bring to the attention to everybody. Then after we talk about it, if anybody in the public would like to move forward, coming up and talk about the jail, let's do so at this time. We got the survey done. Of course, the preliminary, and I'm not a survey person or a realtor or anything like that by no means, but when they drawed it, I guess, off the map to start with, it was estimated to be around 17 acres. We got the survey back, and the survey was completed on June 18th, 2026. Determines the acreage to be 18.003 acres. So it's just a tad bit over 18 acres, but it's an acre more than what we thought it was going to be. So from 17 acres to 18.003 acres. That changes the scope of the price, of course. $90,000 was the agreed price per acre. That is amended now, since it's 18 acres, $1,620,270. So, anybody?
Can you repeat those numbers, please?
Yes, it's 18.003 acres. The purchase price of $90,000 per acre is amended to $1,620,270. So, and I know there's some people here to talk about the jail. If you'd like, whoever wants to come up first can. The county attorney will address the issues, the legal issues of the jail, the survey, the property, stuff like that. So, yes,
How much per acre?
90,000. Anybody from the public want to come up and speak? Yep.
My name is Tom Hudson,
Good, Tom.
and I was just wondering,
Tom.
yes,
Hit that button there on the mic, but.
Oh.
Yeah, it'll come on red.
There you go.
there we go. Can you hear me now?
There you
All
go.
right. So $90,000 an acre, that seems awful high. I mean, is there any way that that acreage can be justified to be worth $90,000 an acre? I mean, I don't know of any land in Owen County that would be worth $90,000 an acre. And, you know, and it's our tax dollars that are buying this. I just think we really need to think about, are we getting a fair deal? Or is someone getting their back padded, you know, by doing a deal with the government, thinking they can get over on us? I just really think we should use caution in that before we go down that road of spending that much money. And
I appreciate
that's
it.
all I have to say.
I do. I
about
appreciate
that.
you coming, yeah.
You hit that
You-
button.
There were appraisals on that. We did appraisals.
Yes, we did two appraisals. Oh, go ahead, then. You can come. We did, Tom. We had two appraisals done on the property. One appraisal was for $1,800,000, and the other appraisal was $1,650,000. There was two appraisals, so. Hi, Denise.
Hi. First of all, I want to say that I have no dog in this fight, except that I'm a taxpayer. I am absolutely on board with the jail project, even though it's frustrating that we're spending probably the biggest thing we've ever spent on criminals instead of the people in our county who really deserve it. But that's where we are, and I understand it. And I understand for legal ramifications that may come up, that we need to do this in a timely fashion. I get that. I am having a problem with the fact that we have the same realtor representing the seller as the buyer. I spent a big portion of my morning on the phone today with the Attorney General and with the Indiana Association of Realtors. And in both cases, they said we should have shied away from it from the very get-go. That's where you come in, and I'm concerned about that. Part of it is, according to what I found out today, there's a thing called divided loyalty, where the agent legally owes both parties a fiduciary duty to get the best price for the seller and the best price for the buyer, and this is diametrically opposed when you have the same realtor. Why did we choose Tilden Keith? I would like to know that. Also, I understand that his brother Verl, who's on our council, has recused himself from the vote. He's still there, it's still his brother, and it still looks bad. We never should have done this. You're walking a really fine line with things that, maybe they're not illegal, but it certainly looks bad. Sam, you and I went through the Angie Lawson thing. You know how touchy this county is about being screwed
Absolutely.
over. And how many times since then? We got Donnie, we got, what is it, DuBose, is that his name? We're tired of it. So we are suspect, and it's not that we have anything against you, but because of that, every time you walk through this door, you need to earn our trust. And this is not helping when there's this kind of behind-the-scenes thing. And people are related, I get that, it's a small town. But that's when you do your due diligence and you go outside of it. We have enough good realtors in this town, some that I don't even like, but they're still decent realtors that could have stepped in here. And this really concerns me because there are a lot of legal ramifications to this if somebody decides to raise hell. I think, in my own humble opinion, we need to take about a month, we need to go back, and we need to review this over again. And then we'll come in and do the project. And I know that this is the shiny apple in a lot of people's eye, a lot of people who are powerful in this county. And I've already been made very aware that I'm the fly in the ointment, and I'm not trying to be. I'm trying to do the job that you guys are supposed to do. Be diligent, go through every single thing. There are receipts that have not been turned in. There's a bill for you that's twice as much as I make a year, apparently, that's waiting out there. Now, I'm not sure of that, but that's what I've kind of learned. So that concerns me. These are numbers that people aren't hearing. There's a whole lot more to this. We're also going into this hoping that we can get a 4% bond. Really? Well, good luck on that. Unless you have an amazing credit score, that is not going to happen. It's probably going to be somewhere between 5.5 and 7. That changes the bill about $14 million over the life of this contract. That's $14 million we could be fixing our roads with. I'm not okay with it. I'm not trying to fight it. I want us to get the best possible deal we can. And I have been looking over the jail plans too. And there's some fat there that can be trimmed too that has no business being in there. I think we can get this thing in here. We can get it under budget. And I think we can do a good job. And I'm willing to throw my hat in the ring. I will step up as whatever you want me to. And I will help and I will be on the side of this county. These people. The other thing is, I know, or I've heard, let me just say, I have heard that 2 of you are planning to step down as soon as this goes through. And that really scares me. I'm from the South, and I was taught you dance with the one that brung you. And if you don't have the guts and the stomach to stay in it, then you need to step down now, and I'm asking you to do that.
I will address that
Okay.
at August 2nd meeting, the second
Okay.
meeting in August. And during that meeting, I'll also address some other issues that came to light
But
too.
we'll already be into the contract by then, Sam. We're supposed to sign it on the 13th.
Look, I've never backed away and shied away from nothing my entire life.
I'm not saying that you did, but I'm saying if what I've heard is true, and that you and Dave are possibly thinking about cutting loose,
You
that
know what?
scares me.
There has been, and well, I don't want to get into the personal
I'm just
part.
saying, if
I
that is
understand.
true, and I don't know, that is
Okay.
what I've been told by a lot of people that are close to you.
Yes, they are,
They're
and
told.
I'll take.
So I don't want you leaving whenever you leave. I want you,
Yeah.
if you're going to be in on this project, you're in for a penny, you're in
My
for a pound.
commitment is for 4 years here at this thing. Now,
Okay.
I'm not going to get into the personal things that's been going on, stuff like that.
I
but-
get that.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
Not on my side.
I just buried my mom, Sam. I took
I
care of
know
her for
that.
2 years. I got it. I get it.
understand that.
I'm saying if this is the job you're coming in here for, you're not
Okay.
doing it as a favor. You're
This-
doing it as a job, sir.
This part that we won't discuss tonight, but we'll be discussing
Okay,
it in August.
well, I'm just telling you.
I understand.
I've got a list of stuff that you guys need to go through, and I want it on the record, because there are some problems here, and it already makes our skin crawl. I told you the other night, when I watched Tilden come up here and hand you the papers, and everybody got really weird, there's something wrong with that. It just, I don't know what it is, and maybe I'm wrong. I would love to be wrong. I don't know the man. I love some of his family dearly, and I'd take a bullet for half of them, so that is not an issue. But whatever is going on here doesn't feel good, and I'm asking you, as the friend that you said you are to me, I'm asking you to stop this right now, and let's get another month and get it right. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Let me say a couple things in response to that. First, I want it to be clear to everyone that under the statutes that govern this issue, it is perfectly lawful in the state of Indiana for a realtor to represent both a buyer and a seller in the same transaction. In other words, the Indiana General Assembly and the governor of the state of Indiana signed a law saying it's okay to do that. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, on the conflict of interest, there is a statute in Indiana that deals with that issue. And it, in my view, as the county attorney, doesn't even apply in a situation like this, where the council members brother is involved in the transaction and not another kind of family member. In other words, the conflict of interest statute applies when a council member or a commissioner has a brother or a dependent or a sister or a spouse involved in a transaction. That's not the case here, okay? So, again, the Indiana General Assembly passed a set of statutes dealing with conflict of interest, and the General Assembly determined this is not a conflict of interest.
May I please say one more thing? Just because you can do it, don't authorize it. Just because you can do it doesn't mean that it's okay. And another thing, why didn't we counter the $90,000 offer? I've never been in a real estate deal, even ones where you're not supposed to counter, where it's as is, I have never not countered. What is that? That's not, how is Tony supposed to look out for our best interest if he represents the buyer? That's common sense, whether it's legal or not, sir.
Let me say that the appraisals done by independent appraisers came in right about on target of the price.
That's fine, why didn't we counter?
You know, I can't answer that.
Well,
But,
I
you know,
have an answer. You guys are the ones doing the deal, I'd love to have an answer.
That was the agreed upon price, and it seems like a fair price. And the
Same
appraisers
now.
confirmed that.
Who would have a realtor that would not counter for you on the highest priced property that we've ever bought? Who would have that realtor? If he's representing me as a person, I don't want him representing me. I got nothing against Tilden, but I want somebody who represents impartially. And I don't care what this nepotism thing says. Isn't Burl also a broker at the same real estate company? According to their website, yes. Tell me that's not a conflict.
Tilden Keith will be here July 13th to answer those questions.
Excuse me?
He's,
He'll bring that on the 13th, the day that we're going to shove this thing through? No, sir. He needs to do that for me. We're not going to get to that date and all of a sudden we have a surprise party. We're not. Sam, we're not. I'm not trying to be a fly in the way, but this is not okay. Please listen to me.
I am listening to you.
Okay, well, hear me.
I,
Let it sink in. It's not okay. It's not okay. I don't care
Okay.
what comes from council. Sorry, with all due respect.
I appreciate it.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Are the appraisals public? Can we see them?
Yes, we can get you a copy of them, yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Auditor's office has a copy of the appraisals.
Okay.
There's a copy of the survey, there's a copy of the environmental studies, and, know what?
We don't have the full survey. We've got, from the company, we have just the elevation studies. Now, I know that one of the surveys has one of the appraisals has part of the survey in it, but we still don't have the legal meets and bounds description in the survey report.
I'll see that you get it, because you should have all of that from Dustin Fry.
We haven't gotten anything from Dustin.
Okay, well, he said he was putting the packet together and should have a packet for everybody to look at by Monday. So I'll make sure the legal survey, environmental study, both appraisals, and the comps are listed.
We have both appraisals, we have the environmental.
Okay,
We don't have invoices for the appraisals.
okay. So, but they are out, yes.
I'm Jerry Reynolds, and I've got a specific question regarding the fact that it was mentioned that the town of Spencer would potentially be willing to do the long sewer work if the jail's put back on the back of the property, and that we could take some of our funds from one account and over 2 years pay them basically $2 million. Is that in writing? Because if it is not, then that means it will probably not come off of the original price of this deal, and $2 million up front is a big chunk when you multiply it times 20 years.
I agree with you.
So is that in writing?
No, the town council presented a package to, or didn't they present a little bit of something to Sheila, to the county council?
They came to a council meeting and had offered to work with them on the sewer ends and stuff. It was just a verbal that was given by one of the town council members at the time. So there will still eventually need to be something in writing and an agreement, which I think should be part of this early on, but yes, they did come and ask, it's just not in writing that they would do it for the 2 million. And it is coming from a separate fund that is already there, it's not in the bonds, there's over $4 million in that specific fund, that is paying for part of this. The other jail fund that they have currently will pay for the majority of the project, or the property itself, so it won't come out of the PSAP or the taxpayers' fund so far.
So if I may,
Sure.
what the proposal was if they went ahead and built the 12-inch pipe to service the new jail. Originally, that cost was going to be somewhere between 1.8 million and 2.4, I think it was.
Yes.
They were going to absorb that cost, and our commitment would be, or the council's commitment would be, to be able to keep their lit fund for 3 years to 29. Now, they're already committed for 27 and 28, the council is, so really they're just giving them that next year, that 29 lit fund. If they did that, then they were willing to put the 12-inch pipe in at their cost instead of having us have to pay it. I thought it was a pretty good compromise, but no, it's not in writing yet. We need to get that.
I've got another question, which at the last meeting seemed to be very much up in the air, and that is the fact that there's been this discussion as to whether or not the jail should be moved to the back of the property where the road frontage with a turn lane, with the new sewer, with power available to potential other customers could be very sellable. So 2 questions. One, has that decision been made to move the jail back because it doesn't need to be on the road?
No, sir.
It's not been made. And of the new appraisal, how much acreage is potentially available up front? Is it now 4 acres?
Up, if we move the jail to the back,
Correct.
I think about 7, 8 acres,
So that's a pretty big chunk of money that could potentially come back if that's sold, correct?
potentially.
Okay. Are there any plans that are under the table regarding putting other Owen County offices out there? Because they talked about putting them in the jail building, and I wonder now, when I've heard that the commissioners don't want to sell that front property, if that's going to end up being Owen County offices on the highest property in this county, maybe ever.
We don't know yet.
The only office that I would have liked to have seen out there is the coroner's office because of the shape that they're in. But to keep the cost down, that's not going to be feasible for this project. I mean, that number's gotten too big already, so it would
what's
have been
the
nice to be able to
likelihood-
do that, but I don't think that's going to happen. Well,
What's the likelihood, instead of selling that property, that they end up utilizing it for a fancy coroner's office that's a big bill after the fact? That will be a second add-on that we have to be taxed with.
The hope was to get it built at the same time. If it doesn't happen, there's not going to be any money to do that.
So you guys are still considering putting his office in with this program?
Do what?
So you're still considering putting the coroner's office on this program?
No, because the number's already too high.
Well, that's true. We know that. Have you got a total now, if you do deduct the $2 million, as to what this would potentially be, because it's been juggled so many times?
The thing of it is, you have to understand that, this, on July 13th, is just to move forward with the project. It's not even, we haven't even got the bonds.
I'm just asking
We're
if
not
you
even-
guys have an anticipated total price of what this is going to be, whether or not it's been approved or not. If you don't have a price, it makes the 13th look pretty scary if you guys don't have a plan put together and some numbers on it.
You know what, I don't have, was it 37 million, 37.5? I think it was 37.5, Jerry.
That's with the new acre added on?
No, they'll have to add the 90,000 to that. We just got that appraisal back, survey back.
So we're looking at 38?
Let's say 38.
Thank you, gentlemen.
So with that, you made the comment, and maybe I'm wrong.
Sorry?
You made a comment, and excuse me if I'm taking this wrong, but you said something under the table was transpiring?
No, the fact that if you guys are thinking about saving that front acreage, which I've heard from other people that you do not want to sell that. And you probably don't want to sell the property down on 43 either. So if that's the case, my question is if there is actually a plan that's in your heads, not necessarily under the table, but not out in the open either, where you will utilize that property out in front to put in new Owen County offices, which are, again, going to be on the highest property in this whole county and don't need to be there.
Okay, so and I appreciate what you're saying right there. So let's back up just a little bit. We have all kinds of ideas for the 18 acres, you know, and we're going to get the public's input on the 18 acres as well with the remaining property. The first thing we're going to do, if this passes on July 13th, or whatever the case may be, is to get an appraisal on the current jail property with the storage units. Get it surveyed, get it on the market. There's some people, so you hear, that's interested in the jail property and the storage unit property. As far as 43 goes, down south right there, we own 180 some acres. North side of Franklin and the south side of Franklin. We was gonna trade 96 acres for 10 acres, whatever it was, into original land swap, excluding the dump site down there, okay? There is a potential opportunity for the 86 acres on the north side of Franklin Street to be zoned industrial. You've already got two places down there. You've got the countertop factory and wood sawmill. I think we have 87 acres, but I believe there's only maybe 60 or 62 acres that would be feasible to get rezoned. And I'm just thinking outside the box, because I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed by no means, but I think it'd behoove us to get that piece of property back on the tax roll, to see if we can find somebody who would be interested in leasing the property and not selling it. That's just my take on the 87 acres on the north side of Franklin. Okay, that's my take on that, to help bring it back in the tax roll, create some revenue for the county, which could help pay for the jail project.
The only problem with that is that if you start out with a large amount of money on the ticket and the bonds are let for the total amount, you're paying a hell of a lot more over 20 years. And even though you might have something else coming in to pay for it, if you take that off at the front, it's a whole lot more beneficial than to spread it over 20 years. I don't think anybody would argue with that.
I'm not here to argue with you at all.
All I'm saying is that, sure, there's an option here to sell, there's an option here to lease it, there's an option not to do anything. But the point being is that if this is the situation where some of the people in the county say, we cannot afford this, and others say, well, maybe we can, and nobody knows what the economy is going to do, which is, this is primarily based on the income tax, even though it's going to go up to 2.9, if the incomes drop because the economy tanks, and I would not be surprised at that at all. Matter of fact, I put big money on it that it's going to, with the looks of things in the rest of the country. Now, you may find that humorous, but
No.
if you think the country's doing well, you're one of the few. My point is
I didn't say a
that
word.
we should be doing everything possible to reduce the amount of money that's going to go in for bonds, because that's what it's going to be based on, what we have to pay back.
I agree. I do agree with you. And was you here when Jeff Peters, the financial consultant, come down and explained all that?
I did, but the first time I heard him, I could have sworn he says, we're going to use real estate taxes, and then if we need more, we'll hit the income taxes. Now, I don't hear real well, but he was sitting right there, and I was sitting right here. The next thing I know, after mentioning that Polly Chester, he comes back and he reverses that. Now, I don't know if he misspoke or if I misheard him, but it sounds as though that even if it is done off of the employment taxes, that if we get into trouble, then it's going to hit the real estate taxes. And nobody's mentioning that out loud.
He mentioned that.
Well, maybe he did, but I don't know how many of these people knew it or how many of those people know it. The problem being is that we have just had this issue with these re-tax assessments. People have gone up 63%, and now they're facing with, well, how are we gonna do this to max out and pay for this jail? So the situation is basically on a razor's edge as to what's gonna happen if we pay for this thing and we pay too much, and everybody's gonna be strangled before it's over with. You know, we got 22,000 people in this county, and 43% of those are either under 18 or they're over 65. That means the people that are paying the bills is not a very big number.
That's true.
So the point being is that if everything that cannot be taken off of this bill up front isn't done, we're gonna hurt. And we may hurt anyway. So all I'm getting at is that, yeah, I am all for a new jail. I don't think we should have any spas or hot tubs. Nobody's mentioned those yet. But the point being is that if we don't get the price down to where it's affordable with a little bit of margin, we could be in serious trouble. That's my point.
And that's a good point, and I appreciate your point, and I appreciate what Denise says. And I'm gonna go back to Tom's, you mentioned something, and I'm glad you did. Because I've heard about this for about the last 2 weeks, till I'm just, you know, that this Board of Commissioners is as corrupt as they come, or that we're criminals, we're doing things illegal, immoral, unethical. Now rest assured one thing, sir, and everybody out here, this Board of Commissioners has no intentions of doing anything illegal or immoral. Are we perfect? Do we dot every I and cross every T? Probably not, sir. We're in a learning curve just like everybody else. I don't care what happened in the past. I mean, I do care what happened in the past, but we can't keep dwelling on what's happened in the past. We're trying to help build a future for our community. I'm a taxpayer as well. I understand that I don't know all about I don't know what's gonna happen in the future. I don't care whether people like Trump, it don't make no difference to me. I'm a concerned citizen too, because this is 14 years I've worked on trying to get the jail built. We could have built the jail for $18 million. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and say, well, they didn't do it, and they didn't do it, or this didn't do it. I'm not gonna do that. I've got where we bought the storage unit property. We paid $380-some thousand for that piece of property. We took it to referendum, to public meeting. We did environmental studies. We spent close to $1 million between everything. And they axed it. Jeff Peters has been here and explained this situation, I don't know, countless times, our financial guy. Great guy, very knowledgeable. Do I understand everything he's saying? No, I'm not a rocket scientist. But I will tell you that, and Denise knows this, we've been friends a long time. A long time. I think the world of Denise. We may not always agree, but she knows beyond a shadow of a doubt that I'm not crooked. She knows that. She knows that in her heart. I would never do anything up there to jeopardize the safety of this community. I live here. I have for many, many years. I've served in this community for 16 years and will continue to serve to the best of my ability.
Are you insinuating that he called you corrupt?
No, I didn't. I'm not talking. I said this is what I've heard for the last 2 weeks. And it's been out there. You know, I don't do social media. The only time I know anything about social media is somebody sends it to me, and I wish they wouldn't. Because I'm very direct. If you got a question, call me or, ask me, come to a meeting. You're not going to get my attention on social media because I don't care. I do care, but when it comes to the point of asking me, just come to a meeting and ask me. But rest assured, I'm speaking for all of us. We're not up here to do anything illegal or corrupt. Have we Made mistakes, I make them every day, so do y'all. We all do, yes.
I hear you. But what I would like to point out, I do agree with what Tom said.
Mhm.
$91,000 an acre is a big goal for us to swallow. We do need an acre jail. No, I don't think anybody's disputing that. I have a really hard time with Tilden Keith. I don't know Burl Keith. But this is a brother of a dude that's on the board, and he's somehow connected on the front and the back end of this. So even conservatively, his commission check, if he's conservative, takes a 3% commission. That's 3 on the front, 3 on the back. That's almost $100,000. And oh boy, what a lucky day for him. I mean, just, that's so lucky. It's uncanny. It's almost unbelievable to me. I'm just tripping over that. I'm sorry, but make it make sense to me. It might be legal, might be. It's a bad look, for sure. I'm just putting that out there.
No,
It just doesn't look good.
and I appreciate that.
And I don't like the feeling of questioning the people that are in office. I don't like that feeling. I don't think anybody does. We want to trust you guys, and I think we do for the most part. But this, there's just so many variables and factors, and I understand you've worked on this for a long time. I get that. And now costs have ballooned everywhere, and we're all paying for it now. We're going to. But this whole thing with realtor and it's not a good look. I can't accept it.
I understand. Yes, ma'am.
I would like to see the law saying that it is okay for Tilden to be pretty much the owner. He's gonna get a slice of this, no matter how it's cut. I would like to see the law, because I know in multiple states surrounding Indiana, it is illegal. And I have won a lawsuit stating that. So I would like to see the law tonight before I don't know if y'all can bring that law up on your computer and print it off.
I can't because I've got a problem with my internet connection.
Okay, how about anybody else up there have internet?
Yeah, I mean, you'll have to,
I would like to see that in my hand before the 13th.
he'll have to print it out for you, okay?
Because I don't think, I want them to do it. Because I have a feeling that it is not legal. And
Jeff?
if they're gonna sit
Oh,
up there and
sorry.
tell us that it is, there's something not right about this deal. And I want to be verified that
Okay.
it truly is.
Jeff?
So, Commissioners, I used to dream a lot about stuff, and my dad would always tell me, Jeffrey, people can't read your mind. And we've heard about you've got great thoughts and all this kind of stuff, and you've got plans and so on. So the way to combat this tension is to provide information. Not to say it'll be available on the 13th, it'll be available on the 47th, or whatever. The way to combat this is to say, these are the 5 possible options we have with respect to those 18 acres out there going forward. Number 1 option is we're just gonna put the jail out there and be done. Number 2 option is X, Y, and Z. Number 3 option is whatever. And I have no idea, but I think, and it's not, you guys are not being devious, it's in your minds, okay? You gotta get it on paper, okay? And you gotta share it. You gotta say, okay, this is the grand plan, if you have a grand plan. Last time I was here, I said, you guys are responsible for requirements. You guys are the guys who talk about the requirements for the jail and for the county. Please provide them in a consumable way so that we can actually deal with them. It's, in my opinion, it's too hazy. And when it's hazy, the rumors run pretty fast.
They're gonna run fast whether it's hazy or not.
That's
But
true.
that's okay. That's okay.
used to work in a company, they said, nothing runs faster around here than a room. Okay, and that's true, but you can help it by providing information. That's my.
I appreciate
Can I
that.
ask one more?
Yes, you sure
Can
can.
you guys tell us who chose Tilden Keith? and
I
why?
did.
Why?
Well, I'll straight up, I'm gonna back up here a little bit. When we was gonna trade the 86 acres for the 10 acres on the quarry, they did some studies out there, and it was gonna cost quite a bit to get our utilities run through the stone and stuff like that. And we have jail committee meetings every couple months or 3 months. And we was in a jail committee meeting, and several people attended, all the committee members did, and the council. And I asked the question, I said, and I've always looked at that property. I've had kind of vision for the county on that property for a long time, just my vision, what we could do with out there, how we could move some of our services out there so we're not renting buildings and so on and so forth. But it was just a vision. And I asked in the jail committee meeting, I talked about that piece of property. And most people was like, they're not gonna sell that property, that's been tried before and so on and so forth. And I knew that Tilden lived out there, right close to the property, and I knew he knew the family. I'm the one, not these two guys, nobody else in this county. I asked Mr. Keith, I said, Tilden, I gave him kind of thoughts about maybe what we was looking at, you know. I said, could you check into this for me? And he did. He spoke to the, I believe it's sisters, correct me if I'm wrong, and he checked into it. At first, they didn't want to sell it at all. He talked to them some more.
Until the grandmother died. And all of a sudden, he wanted to sell some stuff.
Okay, well, she had died some time back, I guess. And I don't know that, but he talked to him for me. I just asked him to talk to him.
And that's good, but why would you choose him to represent the buyer? That's, regardless of what you say, I talked to the real estate commission on database, so I know it is very unusual, and they advise against it, and especially in something this big.
Okay, so-
I'll check, I'll
Not
tell you
only
what.
that, but just from a code of ethics, I think,
Yeah, it
that
just feels weird.
it does feel weird.
Oh.
And I don't, like I said, I don't know Brokey, I don't know Tilden, I don't know anybody. But, you know, this dude's brother is on the council locally, so shouldn't he, just as a good dude, to, I can talk to him, and I'm gonna hand it off to my friend Jim Jones, because, you know, it's a bad look. You know, it just, I don't
Okay,
know.
and I appreciate what you're saying about the bad look, but I hope you appreciate what I just told you, because I told you the truth. I'm the guy that asked.
I get it, but why? Why would you choose him?
Because he,
Would you buy a piece of property and have the same guy represent you against somebody you didn't know? I wouldn't.
okay, so I'm not in the real estate business, by no means,
I
property.
understand, but that's just common sense, and sir, you should have advised them against this. You
So
should have.
it's just like Jeff Peters with,
I've done that. I've used the same
Did you?
realtor
Did
for
they
both
always
sides.
say- Did they just tell you to go pound sand, we don't care if we walk that fine line?
No, I'm just pointing out that I have done what you just described. It's
Your money or
That's all.
county money?
my money.
Pardon?
So
That's
you've
all.
done that, well, I have too, with family, with my family.
Right.
But in a deal like this,
Anyway.
it looks improper, sir, and you serving us should look out for our best interest. There's no way this is our best interest.
so, but,
If it were, we would have countered.
but that's not the original question. The original question was what?
Yeah,
Because I didn't, me and Tilden don't hang out together.
I didn't say that you did.
No.
I'm just saying, I don't know what the relationship is. I'm just saying, you should never, if you want to get the best deal, you should never, and that is according to the people that write rules today. You
Okay.
should never use the same, it's like using the same divorce lawyer. Good luck.
I do understand where you're coming from. Believe me.
So that's why people are arguing online, that's why, we've been burned enough, that's why this didn't come out of the blue. So, I just need to take this to heart, because there are some people mad, and if you think this is a little dicey, it's getting worse.
Well,
I have a question. Why the 13th? Like, does it have to, like, it seems like it's still pretty upset about a lot of things. Like, why is it getting rushed to, like, the 13th? Like, it seems like a lot of time for people to really.
The 13th been planned for quite some time.
Has to be signed by the end of the month, right?
By July 30th, we have an extension to
Yeah.
July 30th. Tried to get it through. We've had meetings after meetings. We've had commissioners' meetings. We've had council meetings. Now, for the council, we went to them with the agreement to purchase the property. Can't remember when it was. And the council voted 5-2. One didn't vote for it. Burl Keith abstained. 5 council members voted for us to proceed to purchase the property. Is that correct? At the $90,000 an acre. That's what we presented to them. We didn't hide nothing from them. And they approved for us to move forward. So we've just been moving forward. I only picked Tilden Keith because I knew he lived out there. That's why I picked him. Could I have picked anybody else? Sure, I could have.
Debbie Fouch is right in front of them.
I could have picked any realtor.
I know, and we should have some, we should have somebody different. And we should, at this point, go back and get somebody to represent us. We should.
I appreciate it. And I'm not mad at nobody. I don't hold grudges against it.
This isn't about, I'm coming to you as a friend and just saying, this is why things look so bad, why people don't trust. We're just now going through the tax.
I understand.
That's messed up.
It's taxpayers' dollars that you guys have been paying a tax for this jail for 6 years now.
I get that.
And we've not turned one stone.
And we should.
And we've spent millions of dollars of taxpayers' money by not doing nothing.
Well, I've noticed tonight, there are a lot of things that when we have been asking questions, y'all have to turn around and look at Sheila like, I don't really know. That concerns me. When I go to a deal, I know every single thing.
No, I'm gonna disagree with you. I appreciate it. I'm gonna because she knows more about what days we met and what was said. She's got a better memory than I got. I'm not gonna sit here and constitute I got a memory. So when I'm looking at her, it's strictly, I don't need her to tell me what to say. I'm asking for a reason. So yes.
I have a couple quick comments. One, to reinforce this issue. Do you know Waylon Tucker?
Yes, I do.
And at the last meeting, did you not tell Chad to roll him a bunch of money to do some patchwork?
Absolutely not. And let me address that issue.
Well, let me say one more thing first.
Good.
Is he not the cousin of Tilden?
Okay, let's address something, me and you, straight up.
Yeah.
You made it perfectly clear in an email message to the county highway that Tucker Paving was getting all the paving contracts. Mr. Tucker, and hear me out on this, you alone, the biggest duck in the puddle, was complaining about White Road, and I come out there and looked at White Road repeatedly. Mr. Walker didn't have the manpower or the means to get out there and fix those holes. I asked Mr. Tucker, I said, could you go out there and give us a cost of what it would do to patch White Road? And he did. That is the only job Mr. Tucker has done since I've been sitting here as a commissioner for a year and a half. And you stated that he gets all the jobs. That is incorrect, sir.
Are you done?
Oh, by far. No, I'm not. But go ahead.
Well, doesn't matter to me, I can do it sooner or later. Let's be clear about what happened. I made the phone call because our road was in terrible condition.
Yes, it was.
And noted by many other people in the county.
Sure.
We've got 75 homes out there that access that road, and we've got some huge real estate deals which don't pay for the road, but they sure as hell pay for other bills in the county. So I called and nobody did anything, and then I called you and you gave me a short story. And then I called others to say, hey, we've got this road problem, maybe he needs to hear from more than just one because he thinks I'm the big duck in the puddle. Well, you tell a friend of mine that because of the fact that Reynolds and his buddies have made a call in on that road, that it's been put on the bottom of the priority list, and I could have sworn it was there to begin with. So let's talk about who's kicking which hornet's nest first.
We will.
Because of the fact that you, as a county official, are supposed to be responsible for taking care of roads, and I got 3 minutes here later to talk about the equipment that you got rid of that could have been used in those paving jobs.
Okay, we're done. Yes,
I thought we were here to talk about the jail in this part of the.
yeah, it is.
And I thought we were supposed to go to the mic and introduce ourselves and talk about the jail.
You're correct.
And I keep putting my hand up, the same people get to talk about the same thing, and then off on other subjects.
I agree. Back to the
Okay,
jail.
I'm not trying to be
No.
argumentative. I appreciate the jobs you guys.
Come on up and have a seat, bud.
Come on up and have a seat. State your name, sir.
I will. John McKnight. I live on Byerly Road. You know, I've lived in other communities and that have built jails, and they never go to the primest real estate to build on. They go out away from the main town to build. The town ends up catching up to them and building out that way. But I don't understand why we're buying the highest paid realty that we could instead of moving. And I understand you said the sewer pipe runs through there, but it's still gonna cost a lot to have the sewer, from what I've read. And I'm not here to be argumentative or anything else. I just would like to know why we're building where any commercial building was going to want to be, and they're willing to pay big money because they have income coming in. The jail is the jail, you know. I don't know why it needs to be in the most expensive part of the town, and that's all I got to say.
I appreciate it. I do. Anybody else about the jail? Okay. Let's move on to Human Resource Officer Administrative Assistant position. Have you?
I did not talk to Addie about that. I talked to her about the critical incident policy today. And the critical incident policy that we talked about last time.
Okay.
And it's my fault. I forgot to talk to her about this other issue. And I will talk to her about that tomorrow.
Okay.
Or next week.
For the commissioners, I'm sure you just have in your packet, and I ask you to please review before the next meeting, new legislation that started yesterday. Let me get to it here real quick. House Bill 1161, local government county administrator. It says the executive may appoint a county administrator to be the administrative head of the county under the supervision of the executive and to hold office at the pleasure of the executive. The new subsection, the county executive may set the salary of the county administrator subject to salary parameters established by the county fiscal body. So for the county attorney, I know we're waiting on a job description. Is that correct? From Addie?
Yes.
Okay. Once we get that job description, we need to review that and see if we understand it, if it meets all of our criteria, because having an administrative assistant is going to be a benefit to all of us.
Could I speak on something in here as well?
You sure can.
Legislating.
Can I
So,
make a comment on this
Yeah,
issue, Tom, before you go to the next one?
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
So the issue was, is it HR, is it HR/admin? And that is what they're working on, is to try to come up with the best verbiage that
Yes.
would combine it and still pull. What I do need, or will need, hopefully by the next meeting, if we come up with this, is I still have time to adjust the budgets that I have gotten prepared. I put 40,000 in my budget because I was going to give it up if it was HR related, but I also put 40,000 in yours. And what I'm seeing and hearing and where the other counties are at in these positions, you're looking at more like 50 or 60,000. And that makes a difference on getting a qualified person or somebody that will come in and stick with it. So we need a price tag as well as what we're gonna have that person specifically doing that will benefit all around and not possibly cost us 2 positions.
Okay. Yeah, because we need to decide whether it's going to be 1 or 2 positions, correct? Gentlemen, you have before you Joe
Hang on a
Peters.
second.
Oh,
I wanna talk
yeah,
about-
I'm sorry. My apologies.
So another part of this is township governments. I know surely everybody's heard by now that the state's looking at combining townships that score 4 points. They would take those 2 townships and cause them to merge together. And we would like to get out in front of that instead of having the state tell us who that's going to be and where they're going to go. So we need to set a date to have this meeting with the township trustees, and we need to do that sooner rather than later, or we're going to get behind this thing and we're going to get dictated to how our counties, or our townships are handled, rather than us to have a dog in the fight. And I would just like to get ahead of that. And I don't know, I would like to have it somewhere between now and our next meeting, but I don't know with all the other stuff we got going if that's going to work. But we do need to get those folks in here. I'm willing to, write the email up and get all the contacts that we can get and get them, see if we can get everybody in here at once. We may have to do 2 of them because you're talking, 19 people now? So,
So let me look at the calendar here.
I have a feeling, I know we've got a couple of townships for sure that are going to be 4s. And rather than they tell us they go here or they go there, we would like to have that opportunity. I know they got to be connected. So,
Yeah,
it will
because,
behoove us to get ahead of this.
let me look at something here for you, Norman, real quick on this new legislation here.
Does Monroe Township have a trustee? Does Monroe Township have a trustee?
You mean Morgan?
Yeah, Morgan, sorry.
Morgan, yes,
Okay.
yes.
So the
Sheila,
points
which one of-
that is against him, and what we're facing is we do have quite a few townships that are sitting on $400,000, $500,000, $600,000. And this is one of the points that the state is trying to make is why are they not spending it? Why are they not taking care of doing the assistance or the allowables? The 3 allowables that this would get, if these township trustees can go to the fire departments, EMS, the highway, and say, I'll give you $100,000, I want this section of my road done, or they can buy radios for the fire departments, the new systems that we have going in, they're not all gonna be compatible, so what better place than to use this? And if you don't have a budget for at least $100,000 for this, that's the first point. And again, we have several that have got 4 points against them already, and that's all it takes to have to be forced to merge. And if the county doesn't do it and they don't look at it, again, the state can tell you which ones to merge with. So it's better to, again, get out ahead of it.
I think we want to make that home rule instead of letting somebody else do it for us, and it's going to be good for all of us.
Absolutely.
We may not be able to get away from merging some of them. I don't think we'll be able to. And I hate that, and my feeling on it is, who could better tell me what's going to happen in that township than somebody that lives in that township? But at the worst case scenario, we want to be the one saying, okay, let's merge this one and this one because geographically they're close, they know each other, and I don't know what happens to the boards. It can only be one board, so I don't know if 1 from this one and 2 from this one. That's why I want to have this meeting. We need to work all this out ahead of time. Give them our plan, give them time to digest it, and maybe we cut this off before it gets out of our hands.
And if you quickly go to page 14, when Senate Bill 270 it talks about township mergers, but it talks about the timing, and I'll run through this just for the public real quick. By 12/31/2026, the DLGF deadline to release point totals against the townships. From 1/1/27 to 7/1/27, townships can appeal the point totals. On July 1st, 2027, point totals are finalized. On 8/1/27, public meeting with county commissioners and all township trustees to discuss the mergers. 10/1/27, deadline for the county commissioners to adopt a resolution naming the townships that will merge. And 2/28/28, deadline for merging townships to submit information to the DLGF. Then January 1, 2029, deadline for all required mergers to take place. So Norm, I agree with you. I think we need to get on this and meet with them as soon as possible.
I'll draft an email, send it to the four of you, so that we can make sure I don't say anything out of the line.
Yeah, we need to.
And I'll grab the people that I know, that are the township trustees, and we'll see how many when we get in one meeting. If we can't get them all in one, maybe we can break it up into 2 meetings. But if we don't have that meeting first, we're not gonna, I don't feel like I can right now make any kind of judgment on any of it, because I don't know very few of them.
I can't either.
But once we see them, and I'd like to get the financials on them as well, so that if they are setting on this, and that's a ding against them, we know that going in too, so we can say, well, look, here's a problem that you need to start dealing with now as opposed to later, because it seems like a long way off, but it'll be here before we know it.
Sure will.
And then we'll be like, uh-oh, we should have done something. So I'll start that process tomorrow. I'll start getting everything pulled together, and we'll get that sent. I'll send it to you guys, and when you give me the okay, I'll send it out, and we can see how many we can get going on it.
And please take
So
time.
anybody that's on a board, or it's township board, or is a trustee out there, I'll be getting a hold of you, because I want to get on this, get going.
We have a complete list of all of the trustees and phone numbers and stuff that we can pass on to you.
Okay.
This list with the new legislation, this is probably the most simple that there is out there out of all of them. We just got this at the state auditors conference a few weeks ago. Again, it's on the website, or be more than happy to mail it out to anybody, because there's quite a few different things coming down the pipe that will make a difference. So it's just better, again, to prepare. Plus, right now, the township trustees are all preparing budgets. And it would be good to, if we could have this no later, we have our budget workshops in the last 3 days in August. I think the 26th, 27th, 28th, so it would be good to maybe have a handle on this a little bit and allow them to include it in their budgets. And there's a few of them that until a couple days ago did not even know that there was something like this even in the works. So I think the most important thing when we send this out is maybe let's send them the House Bill 270 so that they can see themselves what the information is and why you guys are calling it.
Anything else on that one?
No, I'm good.
Gentlemen, also between now and the next meeting, take the time to read Jeff Peters, the municipal finance advisor and consultant for Owen County over our bonds and stuff like that. Take a look at that, and when we come back to our July 16th meeting, you can decide whether to approve. You got any questions, so on and so forth, but he's got it spelled out real good. Jeff's been with us for many, many years, and just take a look at that and get back with us at the next meeting, please. Thank you. Alfio.
Sir.
Thanks, sir.
Okay, good afternoon, gentlemen. Good afternoon, everyone in the room. I am here to present a draft of an ordinance that we came up with in discussions on the Planning Commission as a way to address some community concerns regarding the likelihood of changes in our county. And I'll just put that,
Yes.
I think we can all read the elephant in the room into the discussion of water. I don't have to be too specific about it. And that was part of the strategy here, was that a lot of folks in other counties in Indiana have gone at this issue of water usage head-on by explicitly banning things in ways that didn't seem to be particularly useful as far as holding water vis-a-vis a legal challenge and whatnot. So this, what you have in front of you is something that we came up with in planning as a way of working through some of the weaknesses that we have in ordinance right now, and then some of the issues that may develop as things change in our world going forward. And let me walk you through a couple of things here. Water usage in Indiana is complicated, right? But in terms of how it affects our ability to live a day-to-day, we can divide it into two categories. Everything that's for commercial and agricultural use that goes from 0 to 999,999 gallons per day of use is basically regulated at the local level. Once you cross that threshold of 100,000 gallons per day, you get regulated by the Department of Natural Resources, and they have a whole legal apparatus that goes with that. Anyone taking that much water out of the ground, that becomes what's called a significant water withdrawal facility, and there's a whole legal apparatus that's attached to that. Part of what you have in front of you here is dedicated to dealing with water usage in that first gap, the 0 to 100,000 gallons, that we currently don't have any way of doing anything about, and in terms of utilizing our community resources and thinking about where our water goes. So we as planning wanted to address that issue, and what you have in front of you here basically sets out a couple of guidelines which draw that number down to a more manageable 10,000 gallons per day. So anybody that's using for commercial purposes or industrial purposes more than 10,000 gallons per day would be subject to our to planning regulations, and we would ask them to produce things like a drainage plan. Where's this water going to go once you've used it? What are you doing with it, right? And then as we say in point 4 here, that we attach the legal tool of the drainage board. And I know we don't have a drainage board in Owen County, and I will address that in my second set of comments regarding the importance of urging you guys to rethink setting something like that up, and I'll explain my thoughts there. But basically the idea here is that with the water standards is that we have that number of 10,000 gallons per day. That number came out of conversation with Todd Gardner, who's the CEO of the BBP. They currently do not have any clients that they are providing more than 10,000 gallons per day. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with the way that some of these new industrial, let's just name them, data centers utilize water, but 10,000 gallons per day, while it's a significant amount of water for household use, to a data center, 10,000 gallons of water is absolutely nothing. They go through water like that in the millions of gallons per day, right? So the way that we thought we could successfully restructure the ordinance is to create this avenue where if you're going to use 10,000 gallons per day for your business, whatever that may be, we're asking that you explain what are you doing with the water, right? And that would apply to folks that are in that 10 to 100,000 gallon bubble that fall outside of what the DNR controls, right? For folks that are exceeding the 100,000 gallons, that entirely falls within the purview of DNR, and we at the local level, for better or worse, don't have anything to do with how those things are regulated. But the possibility is there for you guys to insert some leverage and to exert power there is via the drainage board, right? So we can't control how much water they take out of the ground, but we have, as a local entity, the law provides us the ability via the drainage board to have a say about what is happening once that water is taken out of the ground, whether it's pumped from the river or wherever the water is coming from the aquifer, et cetera, right? And that's why the drainage board is a really critical vehicle to controlling that water usage. As far as looking around different drainage boards in the state, there are some really useful models that are, I would say, in step with the way that we do things in Owen County, which is a low impact. I'm not asking you guys to set up a really busybody interventionist drainage board. This is very relaxed and, agreeable to our practices here in the community. But the fact that we would have that recourse to then come back to whoever is applying to be able to use that much water and say, okay, you've met these requirements, but you still need to talk to the drainage board. And so at that point, we do bring back some local say-so in terms of how we're using local resources in our community. And we can have something to say about that 100,000 gallon limit per day. I won't get into the legalese because obviously you have experts for that. What I would urge you to consider as far as how to structure the drainage board is there are some very good models throughout the state. Miami County, I think, is a community that matches some of the needs of our community and being a largely rural county as well. And they have a drainage board that is very ad hoc. It doesn't meet regularly. They only meet when they need to, when they have an application that requires drainage board approval. And the key piece of language in their codes and what they try to regulate is that they say that the drainage board comes into effect when it affects a regulated ditch, regulated drain, which we can talk about. But also, the language that is interesting to me is that it says when any source of water affects outlets that are tied to a regulated drain. So in order to have a drainage board that would provide the opportunity to successfully deal with a challenge from a data center, the kind that we've seen popping around the state, we would need to designate a couple of places around the county where water is likely to go into. And the geography around here is pretty simple to read as far as water flows. We all know it eventually goes to the river, right? And you don't need to designate the whole river as a regulated ditch because you don't want to take on the cost of maintaining and doing things to the river. I'm not trying to sink our ship financially, but any water that is running to these regulated ditches would then become a place where the county government, via the drainage board, would have say-so about the way that water is being used. And again, this is not exclusively a no data center ordinance, but it is thought of as a way of having local say-so in terms of everything in the agricultural to heavy industrial use where large amounts of water are being used and are then just dumped into the geography of the county, right? We want to be able to have some say in terms of what happens with that water, if it's coming from agricultural production or if it's coming from industrial production. We want to have a say-so, and the drainage board gives you the legal ability to do so. I guess I kind of ran through that pretty quick, but I know time is of the essence here, so I wanted to get that all out. Obviously, I know you guys have other things on your docket and things that are urgent, but I would say that this one, this ordinance that we're proposing, and again, this was approved unanimously by the Plan Commission after some discussion. This isn't just, I'm not just speaking for me. We all agreed that this is a way that we can sort of move forward and try to curtail some of these potentially problematic uses of water in our community. And I would really strongly urge you guys, this is me speaking, I would strongly urge you guys to push this through legal, review it, and enact it so that we can have some level of protection, both in terms of the 0 to 100,000 gallons, which we don't have any protection right now, and then the 100,000 and beyond, i.e. data centers or what have you, that we also don't have any local protection on. So this, if it flies past the legal lens over there, it does both. And again, I would strongly urge you guys to read through this and have it become an ordinance because we need it. We don't want to have the issues that some of our neighboring counties are dealing with projects that are on railroad tracks that they don't control. And I will stop there. If you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
I'm glad you came tonight. I know we've had scheduling and stuff like that, but so clue me in here just a little bit, sir.
Yes, sir.
Because we have two companies that's hauling water from our county.
We do,
The one down south, and the one up north.
correct.
And so, let's just take the one up north. I was dealing with that today.
Uh-huh.
What is the guidelines for how much water they can take from that aquifer up there on Keeler Road?
Right. So, again, my research, I'm
No, I-
obviously not a legal scholar,
Oh, you're
but
fine.
my research, having worked to produce this document, we basically don't have any way to have any say in terms of what they take out of the ground when it goes from 0 to 999,999 gallons per day. So 0 to 100,000 gallons, we have there's nothing on the books right now that we can do anything about the water that is taken out and hauled away.
That's right, except the contract, the agreement with the county does have a limitation.
Right. So you can,
Yeah.
we, with both, we have imposed conditions, right? But this is a different way of doing it.
Yes,
That
that's right.
we would apply the same legal standard to everyone. And we don't need to get into the particulars of why some of those conditions are maybe not the best that were applied back in the day, and we don't want to repeat that model. This is a universal standard, everyone meets the same law, and it doesn't mean, if the petitioner comes before the Planning Commission and the Board of Zoning Appeals, if they need to, and they say, look, this is what we want to do, this is why we want to do it, it will provide X benefit to the community, and the Planning Commission approves it, no problem. The Drainage Board approves it, no problem, if the Drainage Board wants to have a say in it. But at the moment, we don't have any way of doing that unless it comes through a variance of that, right? They have, if the property is already zoned for that use, then from 0 to 100,000, we have no say. And 100,000 is a lot of water. Just to give you some numbers, the average household in our area uses 3,000 to 5,000 gallons of water per month. So 100,000 a day is a lot of households, right? And I'm not against anybody taking water and hauling it if they're providing a benefit to our community. That is a perfectly reasonable thing to do. It's a commodity, potentially like anything else. But to some of the discussion that has come before the BZA, in particular, the company that we had petition us for a change, they're hauling water out of our county at 50,000 gallons per day, providing basically zero benefit to anybody in our county.
So, I don't want to interrupt you there, so with that being said, I spoke to this gentleman today, let me get my glasses on, sorry. He called me, the gentleman that owns Rolling Hill Springs. And he said that there was an ordinance drafted up years ago that they have a special use permit.
Yeah.
And with zero, let's go to him, zero qualifiers of anything that they have to give back or help maintain the road or anything like that, which I don't agree with at all. But he did say he would like to come up and meet with the powers to be or whoever, Plank Moot, and because he talked about Keeler Road in particular. And how, he talked to somebody here a while back or some time ago that, the $100,000 to help facilitating care of the road. And his comment was, he has no problem writing a $100,000 check.
Sure.
But he wants something for it. Because his regulations right now are 6A to 6B to haul water. He can't haul any before or after, and he can't do nothing on the weekends. So, as just one commissioner, because I'm trying to learn, we could stipulate certain regulations.
Sure. But we're kind of putting the horse before the cart by discussing the particulars of that case. I don't have any issue with that company or even the company down south. I'm simply saying.
But we have nothing. We'd have nothing tied to him if he's hauling less than 100,000 gallons a day.
We have nothing except for whatever was designed at the moment that the
Okay.
variance was approved, back
Okay.
back when that was. I don't know the specifics of that case because I'm not privy to those documents. In the
I
case
answer a
of,
couple of questions, Tony, and I'm on the planning commission with Alfie here, so we worked on this document. In fact, I think I stole this from some other county and then we tailored it, right?
this is a fresh draft, but
Fresh
yeah,
draft.
your initial question was
Right.
what prompted
So-
us to work on this.
I think it would behoove us to do this. What is the process to move this from a drafted document to an ordinance? There's got to be some readings, and I think there's got to be some public input on this, but I think we need to get it started.
And I actually, in preparation for today's meeting, had somebody look at that.
Okay.
And we could talk about that. There's actually, right, you have to go through some readings.
I
and it has
suppose
to go through
there's
the
a
planning commission.
process,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes, and
So-
I've got an outline of that.
All right, because I'd like to get this going, because you're right, we have no protection. This doesn't do anything for anybody that's in business today, because
Right,
they'd be
right.
grandfathered anyway.
This is, yeah, exactly.
But at least we get something in place. We're also working on something else to help us out on that same vein, but we're not there yet, so. And we did steal that one from some other county.
It's, I mean,
Why reinvent the wheel?
it's
They've got a
not
good
stealing,
plan.
it's public law, right? The
Yes.
models are out there, you got to borrow and.
Well, if we don't get out in front of this, we're going, it's the same way with the township stuff. We're going to
Yeah.
get it in the end. We need to be ahead of it.
Agreed, agreed.
Okay.
Thank you, Alfie.
Any other questions?
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for listening.
Can I comment?
Yes.
So as part of the planning and zoning and building department, way back when that all first happened, I do know that there was exact conversation on what could be hauled and what some of the stuff was. There were several meetings with a former commissioner and former highway superintendent on, we're gonna fix the road. They met with them, they drove the roads, we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it. It never happened. Yeah, Chad can confirm that. So there has been conversation with the roads getting fixed from this same gentleman.
But was that in the agreement that they wrote up and they
There
signed?
wasn't an agreement, but there was conversation in the meetings and
Bill, once the Rocky Hill Road Bridge collapsed due to the traffic of those trucks, all that, and because they knew they could.
But was there ever anything I mean, verbal is one thing, but was there ever any documented agreement?
I would have to go back and look
Yeah.
and do stuff. but
That's a problem.
I'll try to.
Like I said, once the bridge collapsed, that's when all those talks just totally stopped.
I have a copy of all the minutes that we're talking about. I'm sorry, I did not bring them tonight.
That's okay.
But I do have, and I will get them to you hopefully maybe tomorrow, if I can.
Could you email them to us? Can you email them to either her or us, one or the other, and she can share it?
Okay, absolutely.
Because I'd like to see it.
Yeah, or I'll just bring them back and make copies, whatever.
Because I do remember these conversations back in the meetings. I mean, it's not been that long ago that with these conversations were had and then nothing.
I'm pretty sure there was an agreement from the Keeler Road plan that they were supposed to put so much money into the roads. So that-
Well, I remember that conversation, but we can't find anything in writing, and of course, verbal is verbal. And so, and I live out that way, I'm telling you, he's right over the hill from me.
I think I remember reading it in the minutes.
Okay.
So I think it's in there.
Well, if it's in the minutes and it's written, then we can go, at least we have a leg to stand on at that point. So, all right.
Send that stuff to him, I know we talked today, but send that stuff to him. He did call me back. Highway Department.
Chad, I just drove Rocky Hill in its entirety coming here tonight.
Rocky Hill's
We appreciate it.
They did it today. It's far from being fixed, but it's not.
Well, it's a much better ride than it has been.
First off, I want to give a thank you to Angela
and Speedway. They donated drinks to the guys working on
That's
that
what I
road.
hear. Good job back there.
It's very nice every once in a while for these guys not to be flipped off, cussed out. Somebody actually appreciate what they're doing.
That's just an added bonus.
Just saying.
Oh,
It goes a long way, trust me.
yes, it does.
Hot Box crew has been working nonstop all week. We finished Macville Road. We completed all of Rocky Hill. They'll be going to Quincy Road next.
Okay.
I also got 4,500 gallons of AE90 oil today for the injection hole patchers. Monday, I'll be sending a couple trucks to Terre Haute to S&G to get the crushed 11s, so we can start running the injection hole patchers also. So we're trying as quickly and hard as we can to get some of these potholes.
So would then that have 2 crews out fixing potholes basically, right?
2, possibly 3.
Possibly 3, okay.
Yep.
And where are we at on the list? Posting, I mean, I know you guys send us a list, but remember I said I'd like to see a list of here's the
Yeah,
pothole roads we're gonna work?
We haven't been able to get through all of the call-ins
Okay.
to.
Right. Because I got a couple I'd like to add, but I don't want to bombard you until you guys got your list, and then we can just put them at the bottom and,
But I sent you guys a list that we had compiled, I divided by districts and had
Right.
a list of the roads on that. So
Yes.
if you have anything when we add to that list, just let me know. But I've already sent you guys a list of what I've compiled with the phone calls that I get, plus roads that chatted.
the other thing, and I think you mentioned this last time, it makes perfect sense to me that if you're up by Mill Grove, do a chunk around Mill Grove, don't drive halfway, to Coal City in the same day and try to do another road.
Yeah, no, you
Do
try to
your
keep
work,
them
yeah,
somewhat.
that makes perfect sense, so I understand sometimes the list is not gonna be sequential, but at least we've got it and people can look at it and they'll know, help is coming at least at some point. But,
As far as CCMG roads go, they finished berming Freedom Army Road this morning.
okay,
We moved on over to Mitten to get it bermed. The reason is, it takes 2 road graders. They have to have the straight blades on them, not the serrated teeth blades. So let's get all the berming done. I can get the graders back in, get them back out in their areas properly. We'll start pipes next week in the ditching on Freedom Army.
I see a hand.
When are we gonna burn Freeman? I mean, it's supposed to have been done 2 years ago. You cannot mow it because you break spindles on your farm tractors trying to mow it because you got clip fall off.
Talking about putting rock on the edges.
I didn't hear what road did you say?
Freeman.
I don't know how that's done.
Well, let's go.
I don't have an answer for you on that one. I have the 2 bid packs that came back for the ditching job. That's been, 2-3 years out for Hayden Road, that the past board of commissioners said it was gonna get done, it never went anywhere. This is just for the ditching and the culvert pipes replacements. And then once that's completed, I'll have to go back to the asphalt companies and get a quote to do that short section of asphalt.
You want them open?
Yeah.
You ready?
You said this was for Hayden Road?
Hayden Road, there's a short section from where the asphalt starts to the top of that big hill.
This is for Fender Excavating. And total cost of ditching is $10,000. Cost of replacing the driveway culvert pipes, $21,000 for a total of $31,000. This next one is from Du Bois Excavating. Cost of ditching, $8,800. Cost of replacing the driveway culvert pipes, $11,400 for a total of $20,200.
$21 what? I'm sorry. 21,000 what?
The first one was...
I got the first one.
Okay, yeah, the first one was $31,000. The second one was $20,200.
And that's the only 2 we got, right?
That's the only 2 that came back, yes. My suggestion would be to give that contract to Du Bois Excavating. Quite a money savings.
Yeah.
I agree. But did he say when he could start?
He's
Or do they know when they
he's
can-
probably a week out. He's got
They're a week, both of them would be a week out?
Fenders, I'm not sure of.
Du
but-
Bois would be a week out?
Yeah,
$10,000 difference, big difference.
10,000, that's a lot, that's a big difference. That'll go a long way for the asphalt part of that.
I was gonna say, when are we gonna try to bid the asphalt? Are you gonna wait till they're done?
I've got to get the ditching done and stuff, so I can take the asphalt contractors out and say, this is what we need.
Okay.
That way they've got it, apples for apples, they can all see exactly what's there. This shouldn't take him more than I would think, maybe a week.
A week to
Good
finish
weather,
it?
and he'd be done, yeah.
Week.
There you have it.
I'll make a motion that we award the contract to Du Bois Excavation and keep us up to date on if he's only a week out. When he gets started, if you could just let us know, that way we know it's happening.
Yep.
And then,
And as soon as
once
that's
they're done, let us know as well.
As soon
and
as
then
that's done, we'll get the asphalt section of it
Right,
done.
that's gonna say, let's keep her moving.
Yeah, we're gonna get it completed.
I'll second that.
They've waited way too long for this. I think this was
Yeah.
3 years ago that the past board.
How long was it, Kevin?
About 3.
About 3 years? Well,
Got a
apologies.
motion- We got a motion on the floor to accept Du Bois Excavating for ditching on Hayden Road for $20,200. Second by Dave Risk. All in favor?
Aye.
3-0.
Another thing, I've, all three of you know, I've spoken to two of you about it, and emailed the others, and we've been in contact on messages and stuff. Our bucket truck.
Yes.
Our bucket truck is inoperable right now. We found that the boom at the subframe and frame of the truck is broke. I will not use that truck
Yeah, don't.
in any way, shape, or form as an aerial platform. Myself and two mechanics are gonna go Monday to Fort Wayne. We found a truck and chipper at a really reasonable price. We're gonna go look at them. The storms and stuff we have, the trees we have, I can't go without that piece of equipment. I have to have it. Today, we had a tree on Hoot Road that I had to stand on the cab of the truck, throw a rope over it, hook a chain to it, and drag it down.
Don't tell us that.
I mean,
Wish you hadn't said that, but that's all
well,
right. Glad you
there's
did.
nothing, I mean, it had to be done, but we can't do this. I've got to have that piece of equipment. And I talked to Altec, which is the manufacturer of the boom, and he said it would be cheaper just to find a different truck. And then they do all this work to strip it down, and if the frame's not right, they can't even put it back together. So my suggestion would be that's a good running truck. I have other uses for it. We pull the boom out of it, and it's got a utility bed on it. We can use that truck for other things than a bucket truck.
How many miles does that one, do you know?
I don't know right off the top, not a lot.
Not a lot. Well, do we need a motion for them to go look at this thing?
I don't think we have to have a motion just to go look at a piece of equipment.
No, just go look at it. Get pictures, drive it, test it out, make sure it runs. Chipper.
Yeah, I am. I'm also down to just one mow trim. That other mow trim has quit again. It's something to do with transmission.
That same Ford?
Same one.
Drain it and refill it.
Hell, yeah. We get about 2, maybe 3 hours out of it, and then you gotta drag it off the road. So, mowing right now, I have one mow trim, and that operator's actually off. He had a death in the family. He'll be back Monday. And we have Jim Strunk, the contractor, doing some mowing. That's all I've got.
So you only got one mow trim?
Yep.
Is Shrunk working every day?
That I'm not sure of.
I need, from him, I need to know when he's working, where he's gonna be working.
Okay.
Just, I need some sort of schedule from him.
I mean, I know where he's been working, where I've sent him, but I don't know his schedule.
Try to get a schedule from him, if you will,
Okay,
please.
yep, I can do that.
You have any idea what we're looking at if we replace that one, dollars wise?
That mow trim?
Yeah, rough guess. I know I'm not gonna hold you to it, but
I'm gonna say it's almost $200,000, maybe a little more.
Yeah, I believe it was more last time we looked at it. I think it was around 250.
And that is not one of the things you wanna buy used.
no, I could see that.
Anything
I've
else?
got some major equipment issues coming up that we're gonna have to start replacing some stuff.
Okay. Anything else?
That's all I've got.
Appreciate all you guys and everybody's doing out there. I know it's been hot, but we appreciate you being out there. Thank you.
To the public, there was, Ron issued a gas tax earlier this week. We will be receiving the money that we thought was gonna come or be taken away. It will show up. The first one's supposed to be in July, the second one in August, and caught up by September. We also, there is a new program called lane mile restriction, and very unexpectedly, we got $363,691 this week that went into the highway. The only thing that it's allowed to be used on is roads and bridges. So we got a little bit of money, and we're getting some back that we were afraid might not happen before the end of the year. So those are positive notes to help with some funding. That doesn't mean, obviously, everything's gonna get fixed. Sounds like we might be buying equipment, but at least.
But none of that money that we're getting can be used to buy equipment. It can only be used for materials to do the roads.
Yep, you're right, but it frees up that money that we was gonna use, 'cause that 363,000 that we got for the lane mile restriction go a long way on some roads,
Yes.
you know, stuff like that, so we're headed in the right direction, public. It's just man.
Took us a long time to get in this
Well,
situation. It's gonna
but
take a
we're-
little bit to get out of
And
it.
the nice thing is, we're making progress on the roads, and our budget's in order of where it needs to be.
Right.
That's two wins in a row.
So,
I hate to jinx us, but.
no, go ahead, Tom.
I just wanted to ask something or make a comment before the highway guy leaves. Is there any way that we could make it a county ordinance or a rule or something that when they're cutting down these trees that get blown over by the storm, that they take an extra saw cut and get it at least 2 feet off the edge of the road?
If that comes from the county highway, it is on the other side of the ditch. If it's cut by us.
So you're saying that it's like AT&T or REMC?
REMC or just somebody.
River Road in Cartersville is scary.
Yeah, and
It's scary again. They got cleaned up last year about this time,
Yeah,
and now it's getting scary again.
River Road was all done by the utility companies. Whatever we took off River Road is gone.
Okay.
So that's the biggest
Thank you for
issue. We
clarifying
have
that.
to,
Thank you.
we have to find time to go back in after the utility companies and stuff and pick stuff up and get it out of it.
Right.
Or
I
if a
just
citizen
wondered if-
cuts something, we always make sure we're.
Is there anything that you, as a county, you can tell the utility companies that you guys have got to cut this off our road edge 2 feet so that our people don't run into these things sticking at the side of the road?
is that, Tony, do you know anything about it? Are you making notes about this, or?
Not about this.
Okay.
I guess I can make contact with the utility records and see what they,
Right. Well, and if we may have to draft an ordinance to get it done.
If it's AT&T, you don't even get them to show up.
Yeah,
and
they
take
don't.
it off their line.
They won't do anything.
They're not allowed to cut it off their line. So a lot of them you see that are hanging, we've trimmed them back as far as we can and made contact with them. If their service isn't in the right, they don't care.
Yeah, they came and fixed River Road, but they left it bad right here on the Potter, going up Potterville Improvement. So,
Because if we break the line cutting the tree, they charge us.
right, yeah, I'm just
So, I mean,
asking that whoever cuts the tree, if we could make it a rule that they that, you know, whatever company's doing it, that they get it off, because they'll stop right at the edge of the blacktop.
And
Yep.
sometimes 2 inches over, 1 inch.
If they could just go another 2 feet, it's just one more salt patch.
And
it's a
and I
chunk
can,
of wood on it.
I can tell you on Texas Pike, we had one of those and your guys came out and got it. It may have been on a weekend, I don't know, they were backing it, they were cutting it off because it was out into the road a little bit. And I think Jeremiah even said he almost hit it going out to see his dad, and so they come the next day and they cut her back. It's gone, so they do, you know, the ones they're taking down, at least on that road, I know they come back and cleaned it up
I
later.
don't know if the county could make it a law or an ordinance that, you know,
Back to-
that utility companies don't do what we ask of them, that we can fine them. Or however many days or weeks it sits like that. I don't know.
That's good.
Road hazard.
Yep.
Yeah. It's just a
That's it,
safety.
I mean, that's a
It is.
conversation we could have with REMC and Duke and
All
whoever
of them.
else. I don't know if they do anything worse or not.
Excuse me, Norm, I have a friend that works at AT&T.
Yeah.
And she said that anytime you have something on your line,
Yeah.
tell them the line is down. Even if it's just stretched, tell them the line is down.
So on Clark Road,
What they do, I know from experience.
Call them tomorrow and tell them they're all
They'll
down.
go in, they'll look on their computer and say, oh, there's no outages, we're not working.
Then they're not coming, okay.
right,
I
and
haven't tried it yet, so I was
Yes,
hoping.
that's how
I
it
was hoping
works.
that was a fix.
on Clark Road, there has been one, somebody finally just cut it off because it was hanging down in the road.
And they're all over the
And
county.
and
that
somebody
way.
just went through and cut it off. They never have come to do anything
We
with
trim
it.
it back as far as we can when it's on the
Yeah.
line.
As long as Chad's here, I'd like to commend him because I live on Byerly Road. The tornado went through a quarter-mile north of me, and before we could get to the neighbors to help out, the county had already been in there and cut the trees up. And I'd also like to commend you for getting the Byerly Road sign up there at
The
246.
majority of the Byerly Road, I can't take credit for the majority of it, we were there. Patrick Brook Fire Department took care of almost all
Okay,
that.
well, I did see the county trucks.
Yeah, we were there, but Patrick Brook Fire,
Those trees that they did cut out are right at the edge of the asphalt, and if 2 cars meet there, somebody's gonna hit the trees. They do need cut, they're not on the power lines, they're just hanging over the ditch, but they're right at the edge of the asphalt.
on a rainy day, we'll get it taken care
Yeah,
of.
I understand, yeah, but I'd also like to, wait until Commissioner Hobbs is, because I was here last fall, and I told the commissioners, you know, it's pretty sad to watch ambulances go red light and sirens down Byerly Road and only run about 20 mile an hour. Now it's like 5 miles an hour. And I was told Byerly Road was at the top of the list by Commissioner Hobbs
You're
last fall.
correct.
And I'm not throwing any blame or anything,
No.
and it's been a long time, but there's so many craters down there that you hear the cars dragging when they go through there. Now, you know, I'm a pretty patient guy. I think I went from last fall until now, and I understand we've had a lot of bad weather.
I do,
But-
I agree.
You know, I heard a commissioner say that it's good we've been frugal with money. Well, you know, if I do a brake job on my wife's car and I replace the caliper, but I don't replace the brake pads because I'm being frugal, and she goes out and has a wreck, that's our cars. You're being frugal with our money, but we're spending the money repairing our cars because they're getting tore up driving down those roads.
I agree wholeheartedly with you, and I don't agree with the way the state proposes how we spend our money when they give it to the budget.
And I did, you
Yeah.
know, I also complained about the drain there at the end of Byerly Road, and I called the state about it, because Chad said that was a state thing. They came the next day and put asphalt around there and smoothed that up so you don't have to get in the middle of the road to turn. But, Byerly Road is absolutely ridiculous.
It's a disaster.
That is on my top for the next round of CCMG.
Well,
The north end is so rough, the south end is beyond repair without doing a full depth reclamation. There's no other way around it. That has pumped so much mud and clay up, there's no base to that. I don't know how well the base is on the north side, it may need to be a full reclamation also.
Another thing, Michelle, I haven't lived there but a year and a half. Michelle Terrell, which there is ditches on Barley Road there by us. She said they came through a ditch like 4 or 5 years ago and did part of it, and they left and never come back. So, I mean, part of the road is ditched, but, and that's not on you guys, I'm not saying that.
No, I understand, sir. I totally understand where you come from, I do. Anything else?
I don't have
You
anything.
guys got anything else for Iowa? Yes?
I don't know if we want to bring up about the REMC cutting for the next 2 weeks up in the northern part of Owen County. Chad?
I don't have that list in front of me. Do you have that list with you?
No, but they're just going to be using the helicopters.
They're doing the helicopter,
Tree trimming.
Part of
Yeah.
42.
pretty much all of
Lutz
QNOT.
Road, Gaddis, that area, all over there, they're going to have the helicopter trimming, so just to let people know.
Okay. Anybody else from the public on the roads or got any questions or concerns? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's get back to the ugly. So we have a joint meeting July 13th with the commissioners and the council about the jail project. And I hope you know and understand that I appreciate everybody being here, and I do appreciate everybody's concerns. I really do. And I hope that you will be in attendance on July 13th, if you can make it, because the council and commissioners will be coming together in a joint meeting to discuss the jail project. And, you know, it's a lot of money. And I know there's some issues and questions about the realty side of it and who's this and who's that. And what I would like to see personally, because we work for the public, like I said, we've been at this for 14 years. I'd like for the answers to come on July 13th with the Board of Commissioners and the council as a whole to come together. I hope someone's listening to it and make a decision on what we're going to do. I'm going to be wrong. Yes?
Are you gonna open the floor up later, or are we just kind of like raising our hand if we have a question?
Yeah, you mean tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'll open the floor up.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, and this is just me, and this is just me, not the other two commissioners or anybody else. You know, I'm in favor of building the jail. I know it's a lot of money, and I understand I'm a taxpayer too. But I've sat and watched too many, you know, a lot of money being spent on the old jail and stuff like that, and the taxpayers are already paying two taxes, correctional facility tax and the public safety tax. That was, the correctional facility tax was passed 6 years ago, I believe it is. Then public safety tax got passed to help facilitate the jail. It's unfortunate that it's took this long to get a jail built. A lot of things have changed over the years, and commitments and different things and different ideas and goals. But me personally, I think we got a good thing in front of us as far as the jail is concerned, about building the jail. But I'd like for the questions and concerns that we had here tonight be presented in front of the Board of Commissioners and Council as a whole, to see what they may have questions and answers themselves about this, about the things that's been brought up in front of the commissioners. We want to do what's right for the betterment of the community, the sheriff's office, and the whole 9 yards. And I know it's tough to say that you build a jail for the inmates, and it is tough to say, but the legislation dictates a lot of time the state what has to be done, what has to be built, and that's one place we don't want to go. We don't want to be mandated into building a jail. We've had the insurance gentleman here before us stating that next year would probably be, and Sheila, correct me, sorry, I gotta look her, she knows Denise.
That's okay.
The insurance agent stated that next year would probably be the last year that they would insure our jail at a premium that we could probably afford. It's 38 years old and it's a turd. And we've been polishing this turd for a long time. And believe me, I understand your concerns, I really do.
Two companies have flat turned us down on insurance already. We'll be lucky if we can get them next year with our current one.
I don't want to, last thing like Vigo County or Vigo, however you pronounce it, got into a situation years ago where they got mandated a jail to be built, and we don't want to go there.
That was $77 million.
So,
And you had no say, the judge said you're building that.
you know,
We can't afford that.
and Denise, I understand where you're coming from on the realtor side of things, and understand what the attorney's saying and stuff like that. At the end of the day, on July 13th, we're going to make a decision. And we're not going to make everybody happy. If we turn down the jail project on July 13th, there's people that's going to be unhappy. If we pass the jail project on July 13th, there's people that's going to be unhappy. So it's a tough situation. But me personally, I'm in favor of the jail. I want it done right, of course, and if there's issues that the county attorney needs to look into and address and stuff like that, I want that done. I don't want to do things that are wrong. No, I'm sorry. But that's what we have him for. But at this stage of the ball game, I hope you can come to the meeting on July 13th. It's at 5 o'clock before the council meeting. I'm not sure if we can get it all discussed in an hour's time on July 13th. The council is aware of the price. They're aware of the agreements. They're aware of the realtors. The surveys, the appraisals, the environmental study, our council, our financial people are aware of this, and I believe they're in support of it. But if there's new things arise on that day that they have questions and concerns about, I want them to address them with you all, because you're the taxpayers as well as me. So, we have an amendment to the purchase agreement. It says 17 acres, it's 18.003 acres. The purchase price of $90,000 per acre, it's amended to be $1,620,270. So for the public, if on this agreement, come July 13th, it doesn't mean that I don't know where the council, right now, I believe the council's on board, and I think they'll still be on board with this, even though it's an additional acre. But that decision is going to come on July 13th to move forward or on this project, or delay the project, or whatever the case may be. But I would like the full body of the council and commissioners on that date to discuss these things in whole and answer the questions that you have, like Denise brought up tonight, and whatever other questions. It's a lot of money. Does that make sense to everybody? But on the floor, gentlemen, to the commissioners, you have before you an amendment, a purchase agreement from 17 acres to 18 acres in front of you.
I don't have that. I don't have it.
Want to get one copy?
No, I don't have it.
There's the amendment, and there's the relisting. I probably took them all. I got a stack of paperwork here, deer can't jump over. While you was looking over that, any department heads? Diane, you got anything? Okay. Beth, you got anything from,
I think that we could maybe get, when we get the package from Mr. Fry, could we put that on the website?
Absolutely.
So I'll get with Dave Martin and we'll get that posted on the website and the public will be able to see the information we're looking at.
that'd be great. And we should have that packet by Monday in its entirety.
Are you calling for department heads all now?
Yeah, department heads, elected
I
officials.
thought planning and zoning had a water thing, I was told it
They did.
You did.
He did.
Here's your copy. Sorry, I had them all.
Had them all.
And you can move on it or don't.
No, they
And we also, Sam,
Yes, sir.
had a committee meeting Tuesday night and interviewed the possible applicants for candidates to see the government.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. No, this is just to move it forward to purchase. That decision will come July 13th. But you have to approve or not approve the amendment to purchase the other acre.
That just keeps it available until the 30th.
Yes. Yeah, because we have to July 13th.
17 acres, and that's 18.
Yeah. We need, call it out, guys, whatever you want to do. It's 8 o'clock, let's not delay it.
Did, so I asked for clarification before I make a motion on this. This is just extending our ability to buy the property till July the 30th, because the original cutoff was the 17th, that's what I'm hearing, right? So my motion will be we sign this to extend to 30th. No, that's not what this is?
This is adding,
One down.
So, excuse-
It's this one that is showing it, the 18.
It's right here in front of it, Norm.
Right, but this is not,
The extension last week.
this is just adding an acre to the survey.
this is just adding the acre to 18?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, it says purchase agreement, all, that's why I'm asking.
It's for 18 acres, not 17.
Okay.
This is
I'm not
just-
a real estate agent,
No,
folks.
this is just to,
Don't claim to be. All
this is
right.
just to move it forward. The deadline is
So this
July.
is just fixing the difference between what's been advertised and what's actually there.
Yes.
Got it. All right. I'll make a motion that we sign this to add the extra acre that came out in the survey.
Got a motion on the floor.
I'll second.
All in favor? 3-0.
Sorry for my ignorance, folks.
Now,
I don't know this.
for the public, please, once again, if you can attend the July 13th meeting, I ask you to, because your comments and concerns do mean a lot, and we do care. We honestly do, so.
And reach out to the council members over the next week with questions and concerns as well. So, again, I'm afraid an hour isn't gonna be a lot of time to get a lot of comments out there. So anybody you can reach out to, be good. We can get you everybody's names and numbers, emails.
How do we get that? Do we contact, do we email you for that information?
It's on the website too. Just go to the council members and the commissioners and it's on there.
And please don't hesitate to call if you come up with a question. Call me, call any of the commissioners, email us, stuff like that. You know,
Where did you say I should go to get the environmental statements and the appraisal and stuff like that? Where should I?
Then on Monday, this coming Monday, the contractor is putting together a packet that'll have the appraisals, environmental study, survey, and everything in a packet. It's gonna go on the website, so everybody can view it on the website.
Does it have the assessment in there too?
Yes, it'll have everything, the appraisals. It'll have, appraisal, survey, whatever else, environmental study, everything will be in that packet available to the public, so it'll give you a week to look at it and study it to see, you know, what your thoughts are. Then please come to the meeting and address, ask us, you know. It's been,
How do we address the extra acre with the survey? Because it wouldn't be included, would it, or was it included in the original survey?
no. When they did, when we,
Why it is that way, because the survey, they discovered that there was more acreage there.
that answered? Okay, so. Any other questions about the jail? Yes?
So I said earlier that I felt like it was illegal, so I'd like to read you something here. In New Yorker.
Well, people at home will want to hear it too.
State your, now tell us your right name.
My evil twin's name is, so my name is Angela. I have a farm up on Clark Road. So I apologize, it is legal for, in Indiana, and I'm just gonna read it to you right here. For property owners to act as their own selling agents, parentheses, handling, marketing, and negotiation. However, acting as their own closing agent is not legal by the statute, but it requires highly specific legal and escrow to avoid significant liability. So I guess I asked the question wrong earlier by saying, is it legal in Indiana for the owner of the properties to sell their own property and all that? Yeah, sure, it is. But it is not legal. And I have a feeling when that gets out, I don't understand why we weren't kind of disclosed that in the beginning. So I apologize, I asked the question wrong, but now I'm asking the question I think right. How did that get by?
The issue, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was.
Can I talk to her a little bit about what her question is? Can you read what you just stated?
Yeah, because I'm lost already.
Huh?
No, Go ahead, I'm lost, go ahead.
I mean, I'm just asking, because what I feel like we're kind of all being just mowed over quickly to get a jail, and I'm all for a new jail. I understand the legality of a new jail, and that the one, as you said, I think if I heard you right, is a polished, so I understand a new jail, but what I am concerned about is the young people in our county that is going to be strapped with the taxes of this new facility, when perhaps we can put the jail somewhere else on the property that we already own. Even though there might be other problems with it, why do we have to strap the young people, and I say young, 18 to 65, whatever, the people that are paying the majority of the taxes in our community, but our young people are going to be strapped for years to come. And I don't understand how we can all just sit here and allow our young people to be in debt because we want the jail out by Walmart when it could be out 43 or wherever.
And the one reason.
And I would love to talk to you, because I might be all wrong. I will admit it if I am.
I understand.
But this, I have a problem with.
And I appreciate your concern.
If that's my 3 minutes, I am done.
Dinner time, no. I appreciate your concern. Anybody else? Well, here comes Kevin.
Hey.
How are you, buddy?
I'm all right. Yourself?
Blessed for no fat guy. I'm well.
So I'm usually here at these meetings for the roads, and I've been coming the past 3 years, and first and foremost, I want to thank you guys for getting that done. What was started by 3 past commissioners and a past highway superintendent has finally come to fruition. So I appreciate it. I appreciate Chad. But coming to these meetings the last 3 years, I've learned a lot about this jail project, and I came here kind of late. I was listening to the meeting on my way over, and there's a lot of people that bring up, I think, valid points, but there's a lot of stuff I've heard tonight and over the past few months that I think is pretty ridiculous, really. Calling our 3 commissioners, our neighbors, underhanded crooks, outright criminals, with what I know at least, no proof attached to that. Insinuating that our attorney is inept, doesn't, and somehow is unfamiliar with real estate law. All in all, I've heard an awful lot of complaining from some members of the public, but not a lot of solutions. So let's go down this road on, okay, we won't buy this property. What does that look like? Well, the money we spent on the survey is gone. It's down the toilet. The money we spent on environmental studies is gone, down the toilet. The money we've spent on appraisals is gone, down the toilet. We lose our momentum that we have with our current Board of Commissioners and our current council members who are ready to meet on the 13th and get this done after 14 years. And say we don't buy it. What happens then? We spend another year or 2 searching for another suitable property, of which are far and few between, with sewer access. And when I came here 3 years ago for these meetings, what I remember the price of the jail to be was around $25 to $28 million. Is that correct?
Yeah, about 28 million. Yeah.
3 years ago. And it's ballooned to, what did I hear earlier, 36 to 38?
Yeah.
We haven't added anything enormous to the jail, right?
It's, the current sheriff is, he's got a good design on the jail, but with what you're saying, the overall cost is what it's costing us for the delay is insurmountable. It's
And
about
that's
$8,000 a day.
That's my point, to be honest. is that if we did this 3 years ago, it would have saved us $10 million. But if we don't buy this property and move forward with this project, we're going to eat that 1.6 in inflation. So my 2 cents on the topic, because I don't know if I'll be here on the 13th or not, is buy this property and build this jail and get it done. The only thing I've seen that might be a help is think about selling that front lot down the line, help pay for it. But I don't see any benefit in backing out of this deal when we're this far into it. And I am a young man, I'm 29. I just had my first kid. I worry about the cost of it. I don't like that my kid's gonna pay the taxes on this. I don't like that I'm paying the taxes on this, but this is the situation we're in. So rather than complain about it, I'd like to see some more solutions. That's all I had to say.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Yes, Jeff?
Good evening, Commissioners. Now for something a little different. I was intrigued by the Drainage Board Plan Commission stuff that happened, and in the context, I suppose, mostly of data centers. And Norm knows I've dealt with water draining issues in a variance that happened a few years ago. So I'm all on board with all that. I would like to see, and I don't know where it fits in the county, somebody who has a real understanding of where our water is, where the hydrology of where our water is, because I don't want to wake up one day and find that our aquifers have drained. And we've got the river, we've got the creeks and all that, but I'd like to, and I suspect people know this, I surely don't, okay? But I'd like to see, and I'm not sure it's in the remit of the Drainage Board, but perhaps there needs to be a map of where the water really is. Because if we're facing other new businesses coming in, do we have enough water down 43? I think the answer is probably yes, but it'd be nice to know. Okay? So I would like to see that expanded or a different kind of thing, and so that's that. Okay. So that's my only comment about that. I have one comment about the jail question. Will the purchase agreement be on the website? Can you put that, the purchase agreement, can you put the purchase?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Great, that'd be great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you. Anybody else?
You think DNR would get us that information, Jeff?
Jerry? No, I'm sorry, talking to Jerry.
I'll talk to you later.
I've got 3 minutes worth here, but I wanted to ask a quick question regarding the admin position, if I could make a comment question real quickly.
Sure, go ahead.
In light of the fact that that is a very serious position and could definitely net you guys a whole bunch of help as far as grants and doing all of this legal stuff and all sorts of things, clearly it's going to be a real benefit to the county if we can find a good person. The question is because of the fact that everybody's on board supposedly, what are the chances that the council can vet that individual instead of you guys picking somebody? That there be a round-robin approval of this major kingpin person?
I mean, like an election, or an election,
Vetting.
a hiring committee, is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, typically, in Washington, if somebody comes in to be appointed to an important job, Congress has got to vet that person and approve them. So the thought is that if the council is going to be the people that end up writing the checks, if they know who this person is and approve him, it would make things go a whole lot smoother. Just a thought. I've mentioned it to several of them. They seem to like the idea.
I'm not opposed.
I made a note of it.
I mean, I'm just going under what House Bill 1161 says. It says the executive body, that's us, may appoint.
Well, no, I understand who legal people are as far as approving the job, but all I'm saying is if she was also vetted by the council, that might make things go a lot smoother, just in general. That if they see this person to be on board and intelligent and capable and all of these things, because that person's going to be pulling some big strings, as I
So
see
you're
it.
saying basically have them like interview them and say
Yeah,
it'll be like
yeah.
that one, then they can get with us, let us know what
Right.
they think. And then we can make our picks.
Just
from
a
there.
thought.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, this is my 3 minutes, and I've got a couple of options here. I've got a bunch of questions on the first half, so I don't know if you want me to read the whole thing or read the first half and let you guys answer some questions. Did you pass those out by any chance?
Here's, on this right here,
Yeah.
okay, and here's my opinion, just real quick, okay? You got a lot of stuff on here, you know what I'm saying? And I wanna look at it so I can get some answers. And for the sake of time, I'd like to bring all these answers back to you on the 16th. It's only 2 weeks away. Is this,
Fine.
this
Do you
is
have
quite a
any
bit?
problem if I take my 3 minutes to read this?
No, take
Okay.
3 months.
Understand that the numerous pieces of highway maintenance equipment that were sold last year at the order of the commissioners, these were owned outright by the county, as I understand it, to include a paving machine, a roller, and our chip and seal equipment. Many in the county are quite upset with the conditions of the roads, as well they should be, but you guys are making progress. And equally, very few knew about these respective equipment sales, which has definitely upset quite a few people. That's why I'm asking. I've already asked the auditor and deputy to expose these details, as they seem to have a difficult time finding all the pertinent information, as the actual sales amounts were said to be missing. So I'd like to ask the commissioners the following questions. So I'll read, so the equipment that was left, what was that? Were they all claimed to be surplus? What was the approximate cost when purchased? What was the valid appraisal complete, was a valid appraisal completed on each component? What was the total dollar value loss, including the purchase price versus the sale price, and to include an approximate depreciation amount? How were the sales conducted? What was the total amount of the sales? Who purchased what property? And were the funds properly recorded, as that information appears to be missing? And were the funds put back into the respective highway department budgets? This other part is basically just a suggestion, which you guys may already have covered, but let me do this if I can. I'd like to present a proposal for a comprehensive road repair agenda, basically a spreadsheet, utilized to determine the priorities of the roads which need attention. The details could include the location, safety issues, general conditions, surface type, the length of the areas to be repaired, whether it's going to be a repair or repaving, if ditching is required, which would probably also consult with the surveyor's input, the number of the homes that are actually serviced, the respective real estate proceeds, as homes values do contribute hugely to the county coffers, possibly the number of complaints, as some folks are quite content while others are quite upset. So if you don't get any calls and the road's terrible and the people are okay with it, that's fine. Traffic counters could be included, because some of these roads get a lot more traffic than just their local people living on them, and the amount of time since last repairs being done. This could even include the possibility of what are going to be on the CCMG grant applications. This is not a complete list and may well need editing, but if I was elected, I would volunteer the system maintenance that could be orchestrated via the surveyor's office, simply to track and expose a valid property, a priority, instead of any favoritism. And I don't want to make any decisions, but I would gladly answer the phone if these folks are backed up at the highway department, so that somebody's got somebody to talk to, take down the notes, fill in the blanks, maintain the spreadsheet, could even use a multiple weighting system that would be very easy, that if certainly safety is going to be very high priority, whereas lesser things could be reduced. So those numbers could be juggled so that that whole sheet would be updated and it would give you a priority. Now granted, if one's at the north and one's at the south, you know, you're not going to do those in successive order. But if you had a spreadsheet, first of all, the people of the county would actually realize that somebody's paying attention to them. And there's just about everybody that thinks they're not. Secondly, they would have some idea as to whether or not they could be somewhere on that list. And it would be a situation where instead of you guys getting all these phone calls, that unless somebody was seriously complaining, I'd handle the phone calls, take the notes, talk to these people, tell the highway department would update this sheet, and that they could take a look at it and say, oh, we didn't realize this one had problems. So it would be just a simple overall way of having a method by which the priorities could be assigned, where I don't think they necessarily get assigned by true priority otherwise.
Okay.
Just a suggestion, unless you guys got any questions for me.
Would you guys like for me to step down as highway superintendent so you can put him in charge of it? It sounds like he's saying I don't do my job.
I did not say that whatsoever.
Hang on, hey, no, I won't have it. And I want, Mr. Reynolds, I want to address you with something, okay? I love everybody, there's just some people I just don't like. But I want to address this to you. I talked to you on the phone 2 or 3 different times. You also sent me a text on my phone. I don't tolerate anybody cussing me. Now, hang on.
I don't know that I would consider that cussing, but I wasn't real happy either. If you want to put it out, I don't care.
No, I don't. It's on the text. There's 3 cuss words in here and stuff like that. And yes, I will admit straight up, I got nothing to hide. I talked to one of your neighbors after you sent me that text message with 3 cuss words, F word, and other stuff in it. I don't appreciate it. But yet, I went out of my way. I contacted Mr. Tucker to see how soon he could get there. Because I've been to White Road several times. I know a lot of people on White Road. And I did tell one of them after I got your message, I said, yeah, it's a good possibility I might just put Jerry's Road last. I did say that, about nothing to hide about it. But you know what I did? I put your road first. Not because of Jerry, not because of you, but because the road was stinking terrible, and I knew it was, and we did the best we could. So yes, I did say I'd put your road on last, because to be honest with you, I was pissed off to no end. Don't ever cuss me on the phone. Sir, I understand your concerns, and I appreciate what you wrote right here. I do. But you don't have to cuss. And you don't have to call the highway department and raise Cain with them either. We understand the circumstances. We're behind it. We're trying to get things better, and we've come a long way. Don't need this type. We don't need this type.
And do you mind if I respond to that?
You got 1 minute. We got.
Okay, 1 minute. Our road has been hellacious for a long period of time. The county, the highway crew, and you guys have known for a long period of time. So the fact that somebody finally gets frustrated, including the neighbors, and makes several phone calls and gets the response of, no, we're not going to do anything. Now, when all of that hit the fan on Facebook, because I was upset, then Tucker gets called. And he actually did a nice job of patching 2 areas and some holes. If we still had some paving equipment that I asked about up here at the top, we could have done that. And he said that by rolling in some asphalt, that those holes, the holes, would be good for 6 months, likely, and by paving over the top of it, just a 50-foot section, that it should be good for a year. Now, if any one of these people has seen a truck hole in this county filled that's lasted a year, I'd like them to stand up and praise it, because it's not the case. It's usually just dumping gravel on there.
Okay.
So all I'm trying to do is help people.
That's enough.
There we go.
We're good.
Thank you.
We're done.
Can I make a comment? I'm sorry. First of all, if I'd had this paper before tonight, I would have already answered some of the questions. I can tell you the answer to every single one of these, and you just passed this out tonight. It's not for me to say what they have or hadn't done. You have not directly asked our office. The only questions you have asked is about the paper, which was a $200,000. It is in the right fund. The check came in on March the 27th of this year. The only issues are, and that is to my knowledge, the only thing that has been sold out there. It was done through the actual processes and stuff. Yes, it was not declared surplus. It's not the end of the world. I'm not saying it wasn't right, because we are supposed to do that no matter what we do. But it was sold to another county. Again, the check came in. It is in Fund 1176. It has not been touched, and it has to be appropriated by the council. So do not accuse my office of not providing you information, because those direct questions have not been asked.
They have been, of your deputy.
The only thing you have asked my deputy for is the bill for Tucker paving. That is the only bill that you have asked for out there.
We did ask for when it had been sold, and I couldn't find it in the minutes because it wasn't brought to a vote.
It's 8:30, people need to go home. Tom's wore out, look at him.
I am.
Yeah.
All stoked up.
Anybody else, public, got any comments? Yeah. Appreciate everybody's coming, and we do care about you and stuff like that, and we are doing the best we can. I feel thank you for coming. I hope soon we get to meet together and talk more about this, because it's something I don't understand very well. Byerly Road people and everybody, thank you all for coming. Anybody else? Auditor comments? Any more? Council? Commissioners? Meeting's adjourned.
What are we going to talk about?